Hi there, my name is Martin Moore, and I am a council member for the great city of Federal Way, and I am now excited to be running for state representative here in the 30th Legislative District for position 1. The 30th District is comprised of Federal Way, Algona, Pacific, Milton, parts of Auburn, and a little small sliver of Des Moines. And we have here with me Maylene Sproger, who's been a really good friend of mine, but also now my campaign manager once again. She was with me in 2017 when I ran for re-election and did a phenomenal job. And now she's joined me up again for this exciting adventure. And so do you want to share a little bit about yourself and whatnot?
So I live in that little sliver of Des Moines in the 30th District, and so that's what brings me into this campaign and the interesting things that Martin has planned if he gets elected. So.
And your house is?
My house is actually one house away from the district boundary. So fun fact there.
Yeah.
So it's real.
Not
great.
a lot of people can say that.
No.
So, yes. So a couple days ago, I came to you asking you if you had any questions. We started a dialogue, and the reason being is that Federal Way and our district, and quite frankly our county, state, our nation, and quite frankly our world we have been dealing with the coronavirus, and so this has given us the unique opportunity to communicate with you using social media and other digital methods as well. So I'm really kind of excited about that new opportunity that has come up from a sad situation. And so before we go any further, I think you listened to the governor's stated his announcement, and I did as well. And so he has introduced a new initiative, a new proclamation of stay home, stay healthy. Obviously, this is a rather historical period of time, but I encourage you to stay home and be safe and stay healthy as well, especially if you're sick. I know that's what my wife and I are doing now, so we're going to be working from home here, and this is why we're so far away from each other. We're using social distancing as well, and so we're trying to really take the advice of our many government officials and health officials as well. If you'd like, there's a website people can visit.
Oh, right. It's
right?
Let's see. It is doh.wa.gov/emergencies/coronavirus for the Washington State Department of Health website, which goes over what you can do if you have symptoms or have potential exposure, and then it talks about the statistics of how the coronavirus has impacted Washington State. And then obviously CDC is up to date with the most current coronavirus facts and ways to stay healthy.
Yep, so be sure to wash your hands and use all the tips that have been given to you, and we hope that you're staying healthy as well. And I do want to do a really huge shout out to our frontline workers, to our bus drivers, to our grocery workers, our nurses, and police officers, firefighters, everybody that's at the front lines that are serving us even through these difficult and somewhat scary times, uncertain times, I should say. So thank you. A shout out to all of you guys for doing what you're doing. And with that, I think we can get started. So I understand you have some questions.
So I haven't shared these questions with you yet. So hopefully I'm going to put you under the fire here. We received a number of questions related to different topics, and so I'm kind of wrapping them all up so that we can keep it efficient.
Great.
First one, and we'll get the big elephant out of the room. Drum roll, please.
Yes.
All right. What are your thoughts on taxes. What are your
Yeah.
perspectives on that, kind of encompassing
Right.
that all can mean?
Yeah, it seems like, the last two sessions, we've had a rather large amount of surplus dollars come in to the state, new revenue, new dollars, because our economy was doing so well. And so for me, it's, we're still asking a lot from people, and for them to cover the bill, so to speak, is a way you can look at it. When really we're doing quite well for a state, and not only do we need to invest those surplus dollars, but we also need to put them aside into the rainy day funds. We shouldn't be taking money away from the rainy day funds as well. But in terms of taxes, it's, look, the fact of the matter is, I am a middle class citizen, and the 30th district is comprised of incredible working class people, and so really at the end of the day, my job, and this is what I want for my family, is to protect our bank accounts, and so, in fact, I just got my property tax bill for the very first time, and I just bought our house, 8 months ago, and really exciting time for many Washingtonians when they buy a new home. But when you do that, you begin to really kind of comb through your budgets, right? And so, I get a little bit concerned of all the taxes that are coming out of my bank to cover the bill when really our state is doing so well. Not all taxes are bad taxes. It's just, the one that is of concern is the 57-cent mile tax. And that one's really concerning to me because you have many working class people that are not 15 minutes away, where it doesn't really matter. It wouldn't really impact them that much, right? But some of them are 30, 45 an hour away from their work site.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they're having to spend extra money that they could have saved for their family, and now they have to spend it to get to their work site. And so I really want to do everything in my powers as a state representative to protect our middle class families. And I'm going to partner up with people in Olympia. I'm going to partner up with friends. I'm going to partner up with residents that are impacted to elevate that message to the legislature saying, protect us. Don't protect our bank accounts. It's really important that we're empowering people to save instead of government taking money away from them.
I like that. I like that
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it rings a bell in my head regarding, say, like gig economy workers who it's their job to, say they're a Uber or Lyft driver,
Yeah.
where that would disproportionately harm if they didn't have potentially.
Absolutely.
So, being thoughtful about different kinds of
Yeah.
workers and.
We just got to be sensitive. We got to protect people. I mean, look, we have the coronavirus that's happening right now, and people are being laid off, but now we're taxing them. And it's just like we really got to protect people, and I believe we can do that. I believe that with the new voice coming into Olympia at the next session, and working in collaboration with both Democrats and Republicans, I think I'm really optimistic that we can rise to the occasion of protecting people and their families as well.
So kind of coming off the, what do they call it, the gas related tax, traffic.
Yeah.
I don't have to say more, just traffic.
You don't want sitting on the freeway? No?
No.
Want to get home to your families?
Yes, I do.
Right, so do I. Yeah, I mean, and a quick side note, it's, my wife and I are getting ready to adopt a baby, and so all the more reason why I want to get home as quickly as possible. I don't want to be sitting on the freeways, and that's why as a council member, I am so excited that we've been given the grant funding, and I've played a role by approving the expenditure of the grant funding to come into our city to be utilized. But I'm really excited about it because it's technology that we're going to be synchronizing our lights and getting traffic to move around really efficiently, allowing people to get home quickly. I think in addition to investing in technology, I think what we also need to do is really invest in mass transit. I'm a firm believer that public transportation really helps not only working class people, but also helps people with disabilities, and really helps them be empowered to live independently, which is what so many of them want. And so I want to continue to invest in that and work with my partners, my other delegates that are representing the 30th district, with Senator Wilson uh, and the other representative in the other seat. But I want to, continue to invest on public transportation. And thirdly, what I want to do is continue to invest on our roads, making sure that we're doing everything we can to keep traffic moving. That doesn't mean tax people. What that means is really just in making sure that our traffic is flowing from point A to point B. Because this doesn't just impact families, that also impacts workers, that also impacts goods. Really being able to move goods, and we're in a really unique spot, Maylene, from SeaTac, right? The Port of Seattle, to the Port of Tacoma. And so we really have to invest in infrastructure to get our goods moving so that it can be utilized in the best possible way. So those are three areas that I would be kind of focusing on as a state representative. And I'm going to keep my eyes and ears open. That's what my job is. And so if a new idea comes up when it comes to transportation and getting our people to their families as quickly as possible, I'm going to hear it and I'm going to work with that individual. That's kind of what I've done in City Hall, as I've partnered up with a lot of people as we work through issues, whatever it be. So, yeah.
Right. Let's see here. So you mentioned you and your wife, Sarah,
Yes.
adopting
Yep.
or bringing a child.
Yes.
So that's really exciting.
Yes.
So as that child grows up, they gotta go to school.
Yes, they do. And they're going to be going to a public school as well.
All right. What will you do?
Yes.
Another one of the questions.
Okay.
As a state representative to address our education efforts.
Yeah, this is another big issue that I'm really excited about in dealing with when I get to Olympia. But one fun tidbit is I've been a guest teacher. Guest teacher is a fancy word for a substitute teacher, and so I've been doing that in two different districts, in Fife and in Federal Public Schools. I've been doing that for a combined 6 years, and I've learned a lot. I've learned what our teachers have to go through, and I've learned what our students go through, the challenges that they're being faced with, right? And it's actually been unexpectedly what I've been working on in the second term on City Council, is fighting for our youth, standing up for our youth, and really making sure that they know that they have an advocate at City Hall and hopefully in Olympia.
What have you done on the City Council?
Yeah, that's a great question. I fought really hard in the last budget cycle to get several $1,000s given to give it to an amazing little nonprofit that deals with at-risk students. And so I think there's a really fierce urgency of now and really addressing our ability to take care of our youth. I'm going to continuously and ferociously work with Senator Wilson and other early learning advocates to make sure that the funding's there for early learning. But when we can really support our families and support our children at the pre-K level, we're going to see a lot of positive outcomes come by the time they hit the 12th grade, right? So, for example, my wife was a family support specialist with early learning, with ECAP, and so I heard a lot of the stories, and what an amazing work she has done, and others that do. In fact, my friend Alan, who's a family support specialist, does amazing things over in Truman. And the dedication that she has is just phenomenal. So we want to make sure that we really support our family advocates and really equip them with the tools that they need to be really successful, so that our kids can be successful. Therefore, what we need to make sure is um, the funding is where it should be when it comes to education. So our district, we have the Federal Way Public School District and we have the Auburn School District. Being a Federal Way Public School product of the Federal Way Public Schools, I'm obviously very sensitive to what's happening with the Federal Way Public Schools district. And of course, the Auburn School District is very important as well. Those are two districts I'll be fighting for quite a bit when I get to Olympia, right? But historically, there seems to be an imbalance when it comes to funding with other districts versus our district. And so I'm going to work with our colleagues and with our senator and really importantly with our two superintendents and make sure that the funding is where it needs to be at. Because when we have fair funding and when we have equitable funding, our kids succeed, our teachers succeed. And the biggest priority I'm going to have when it comes to education is ensuring that our teachers have the tools to really be the best that they possibly can. Look, our teachers don't feel like they're being supported at times, you know, especially when it comes to safety in the classrooms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen, and I'm going to work with the WEA, I'm going to work with all other special organizations to ensure that our teachers have everything they need to be successful. And our students, we need to make sure that we have mental health treatments. We need to make sure that we have programs, and we need to make sure we have counselors, more counselors involved in our education systems, and more wraparound services as well, and ensuring that also our kids are getting their needs met. There's one thing I've discovered, Maylene, when I've gone to the schools is there's some kids that are hungry, and they shouldn't be. And so what I'm saying is we need to do everything we can to meet their needs. Because when our kids' needs are being met, they can be great students that will rise to the occasion to challenge themselves to become the scholars that we're working with them to become. And so I'm a believer that we need to really look at the funding mechanism and really make sure that our district is getting the best type of funding possible so that, again, everybody can succeed. You know, the other thing I want to mention is it holds a special place in my heart. And I know I'm kind of throwing a lot at you, but it's special education. You know, I mean, I was an IEP student. You know, my mom was a special ed teacher. And so we need to really make sure that we're giving all the tools necessary for our special ed teachers and really for our students that are in that program. We've got to empower all students. All of it has to be said. So.
That's good. When you talk about serving all our students, and then you think about how, and that some are hungry.
Yeah.
The percentage should be zero, but some students are facing unstable housing.
Yeah.
In our high school and below. What would you do? And there were some questions here we received about the homelessness crisis in the area. What would you do to
to address that? Yeah, I mean, certainly homelessness, we got to deal with it in a compassionate way. There's a lot that goes into this homelessness. First and foremost, we need to make sure that our police officers have all the tools that they need. Secondly, I believe we need to really fund and focus on mental health treatments and really make sure that it's authentic and it really addresses the problems. Thirdly, we need to really ensure that we have a full understanding of the root causes of what causes homelessness, right? And so I think part of that is housing. When you look at that, I also think it's jobs, and again, like I said earlier, mental health treatments and drug addiction as well is something that we need to be also addressing. You know, on a city council, I fought really hard and stood against having a heroin injection site in our community. I feel very strongly about it. I'm all about innovative. I'm all about out-of-the-box thinking, but not when it comes to this issue. And so what we need to make sure is that we empower individuals that are homeless and give them the services and connect them to services. And really, we need to give local governments more power and authority to deal with that. As a city council member, I know more about homelessness in my community than what's going on in Seattle or what's going on in Yakima, as just a random example, you know. And so there was a good bill that I don't believe was passed, but it was sponsored by Representative Drew Stokesbury, and it was about giving the power to city governments to tax their citizens, and it would come up to a vote, local tax. And so when that and if that vote was to be approved, then everything becomes extremely transparent. And the caveat is that there can't be any parent injection sites, but it gives the power to local governments to address homelessness. And so that's one bill that I would want to revisit and work with, hopefully, my colleague, Representative Drew Stokesbury, on that bill. I think it's a smart bill. I think it's a good bill. And I think we need to make sure that we're looking at funding from all different levels. And understanding what the root causes are and really just addressing the problem from that perspective. There's so much more about this issue that, Marion, trust me, I'll be talking a lot about it. So more details will come as well, because I know someone's going to look at this video and say, oh my gosh, you know, you missed this part. Well, we're going to continue the dialogue.
No, definitely the issue is complicated, so it deserves a comprehensive work towards solutions with it.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of different things.
Yes.
We covered taxes. We covered education.
Yep.
Homelessness, traffic, not in that order, but that's a lot. To sum it all up, we got a simple question right here, or maybe not so simple. But why are you running?
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm running because we, honest to God, need to put people above politics. From the federal government all the way down to the state government, we're seeing politics get in the way. And I really, really think that people want to see government solve its challenges and address people's concerns. And that's what I'm going to go to Olympia to do. I'm going to stay focused on that. I'm not going to stay focused on partisanship issues. I'm going to stay focused on what is it that I can do to be the best representative, and how can I, honest to God, model the way of unity and partnerships and collaborations and compromise. I think Olympia has forgotten the idea of compromise. And so I really want to bring that back. And I believe we can. You know, I think we owe it to the residents of the state of Washington. And I think that's the ultimate reason why I'm running, because I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that we don't see that. I feel like too many times we see a legislature that's just running away with a whole bunch of things, when some of them may be really good issues, but some of them are just like, well, I don't care about the other side, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And I think what makes us a strong democracy is when we can come together, collaborate, compromise on solutions, and vote on those. And so I hope to play a role in that. And I think the other reason why is I've lived in my community for 28 years now, you know, and I was adopted. You know, I came from Bulgaria. I was an orphan the first 8 years of my life. You know, I came here not knowing how to speak English whatsoever, and I'm a product of the Federal Public Schools. You know, graduated Decatur High School, and so I know my community, and I know that we're a community that really believes in thinking through our challenges, and not just acting in one way, and that's it. And so I feel like I'm really the best voice for our community, and I take pride in that. And so part of my message is look, we're going to have differences of opinion, but I celebrate that. I believe that you and I can still come together and collaborate, because I pride myself on learning. and listening. Although I can always do a better job on listening, and I think we have a beautiful, diverse district. From the schools to our communities all around our neighborhoods, and I want to celebrate that. And so I'm hoping to be that positive, uplifting voice that I think we so need. That will think through our issues and not act in one capacity, if that makes any sense. And I feel like I know my community quite well. And I'm excited. I'm excited about this campaign. I'm excited about the support that we've received already. And I'm excited about what I'm hearing from the doors when we were doorbelling earlier on. But now we've paused that. So, yeah. So I appreciate that question, whoever asked it. Thank you for that.
All right. Well, I hope you get the chance to bring unity to our legislature and connect with individuals, as long as it's 6 feet away for the time being. But thank you for answering these questions. And depending on if you like and subscribe or share this video, we'll have the chance to do another one. If you have any questions that popped up while you were watching this video, feel free to put them below in the comments or send us messages. We review them almost as soon as they come in. So we'd love to hear your feedback, and take care and stay healthy.
I will say one thing. If you're a voter in the 30th district, elections will be coming up in August. And so I don't want to miss a chance to ask for support and for your vote for the primary election in August. And so I asked for that support. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. And Maylene, huge shout out for facilitating this. She did an awesome job, and I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. Until then, next time. Thank you.